everyone, it's time to do some cards. This is going to be our March class. I am doing my videos a little bit ahead of time because my husband and I are going to be traveling, so I wanted to make sure I get my videos into you guys. So we're going to do 3 different cards and staying with the same format that I kind of showed you last month, where it's the same style of card, a different color combination. So that's what we're looking for in this round of March cards. And we're going to start with this You're a Classic stamp set. I thought it was such a great way to have a masculine set of cards, both with the 3 different styles of cards, but I also liked the different fonts they put in here for this stamp set. So all 3 cards are die cuts, so that's a very cool look to it. So let's get started and let's create. And let me get my pieces here and my stamp set so you guys can see that. So this is what the stamp set, and you probably can't really see it. It's probably got a glare on it. Is that better? Hopefully that's better. But that's the stamp set. So they're good size. And then the thin cuts are also there. You can always get it without the thin cuts if you just want the stamp set. So, of course, we're going to use our value pack of White Daisy cardstock, or not cardstock, envelopes and card bases. And we're actually going to have the fold at the top on this card. And we're going to cover the top with black cardstock. And during this month, this is a great month for replenishing your cardstock, because it's Cardstock Carnival. So there's all kinds of specials going on with adding to your cardstock or getting those new colors. There's just so much you can do with that. So this is a piece of White Daisy cardstock. So this, of course, was the black was cut to the size of the card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I random stamped the truck on this one. And you can, I did this in charcoal and not in black because I wanted a softer look. I didn't want the background to be in your face, if that makes sense. I wanted it more of a subtle. And so we're going to go ahead and attach this to the front of the card base. So just like that. And then ahead of time, I went ahead and colored the truck. And you can use, I used our alcohol markers. You can use any kind of marker, colored pencil, shimmer brush, whatever you want to do with it. And then I have a piece of black cardstock again that is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4. And then I have a piece of White Daisy, which is 3 1/2 by 2. And I just, excuse me, just drew my little lines on there. So remember, I like to use a pen, and when I'm drawing lines, I draw towards me. Excuse me. And so let me add this to that piece of black. So it's just an offset piece. You could do this, you could have done this in green to go with my green truck, you know, whatever color you're putting on there. And then I'm going to attach it to my, and I am going to do this a little cattywampus. And I have foam tape on my truck. And I can see right now that those are going to be hidden when I put that on. So I'm just going to do 3 little more dots just to give you that little texture to it rather than just a straight line, but you can definitely use it however you want. So I'm just peeling this foam tape off. Okay. And then I'm just going to place this so it looks like that. And then I did the same thing with the happy birthday, another piece of black, and this piece of black is 2 1/4 by 1 1/4, 2 1/4 by 1 1/4, and the white is 1 by 2. So they just go on here like that. Let me anchor it down. And this happy birthday is part of this stamp set. I didn't realize it until I started creating these cards, and I love how it looks. It's a great birthday. It's easy to use. So just added those dots right there. And I'm going to line this up to go on the edge. I'm going to tuck it under just a little bit on the edge of the card. So while I like that, you have a great birthday card for a guy. And then I did the car. This one I kept all in the pewter and the soft side of, I did the dark side of charcoal. So you have that, and I don't know if you can see, but I shimmered the car. So it has like that iridescent pearlized look on the card. All right, so there's the first 2 cards. Same pattern, just changing up. One I did a car, one I did a truck. Okay, so there's the first set. Now let's go to, we've played with this stamp set before, but I wanted to show another version of how fun this stamp set can be. This is the Operation Smile stamp set. So it's very, I love that we give a portion of this, $7 of each one of these stamp sets sold goes to Operation Smiles, which help children with cleft palate. And this is such a great sentiment. Just, you know, how can you not have it make you smile? You know, a smile can brighten someone's day or be the reason someone smiles today. So it's a great stamp set. It's always on the back of your book, so always check it out. And this time we are going to do flamingo on top. And let me grab something really quick. So we're using the same thing. So we're going to cover the front of the card base, and this is flamingo. Okay, and then I have my little trusty box that I'm going to splatter. I'm going to splatter flamingo on flamingo, hopefully. Yep. Okay. And so you saw me just tap it in there. I'm going to take it and set it aside. And then I'm going to go ahead, because I have to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to build the next card. It's same pattern, Just going to change it up a bit. And this one is Lagoon. So there's your Lagoon. And I think, I don't know that oops, I know I need to make that tighter. Let's do Lagoon on Lagoon, just like we did Flamingo. Wrong color, Wanda. Yeah. This is an older one, so hopefully it's not too in your face. And what I'm doing here, I know you can't see, I'm just priming in the corner to make sure that my liquid is moving down onto the tip. And then again, I'm just tapping the Lagoon color over the top, trying to get my edges. Now you can hit it on the side of your, however you want to do it. It just kind of depends on what size of paper I'm using and how I'm doing it for that look. Okay, I'm going to set that Lagoon aside. And the Flamingo is in a great place, I think, for me to use. And I'm going to take our white gel pen. If I had more time, I would have done this where I would have had this dry a little bit, but just to protect everything, I'm just going to run this down. And I'm trying to find something that's not white paper. Make sure my ink is running. It's gonna be one of those days. Again, should have had these primed ahead of time. I should have. I'm just. I'm going to see if it'll pull. Yep, there we go. So it's the same thing, just like you do with the black marker, except that I'm using the white marker or the white gel pen. These are such a great treat to have in your arsenal. They just add a nice pop, because sometimes you just don't need that black. You just want a subtle look to it. And that's what I was going for with this card. That I wanted it to be ready to go. Okay. And then I'm using the Bring Back My pack. And so this is the Chantilly paper. So this piece here is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4. And so let's anchor that down. And then this piece is 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. So it's pretty much basic. And the nice thing about this is it uses those extra little scraps. And sometimes that paper is so busy underneath that you can't, it just doesn't look right for what you were going for. So you want to make sure that you have it with a little, something a little more neutral over the top. Then I took, this is a thin cut I had cut out in my stash with a little scalloped edge. And this is part of that saying. And so I'm going to add some foam pieces to it just to have it ready to anchor down. Oops. And of course those little tiny pieces, I don't know about you, but they always stick to my hands. And this is where you can add a whole lot more of the flamingo to it if you want. But just as simple as that, there is the first card. Now let's get the lagoon and see what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing with lagoon that we did with the flamingo. We're going to run a line down with our white gel pen. There we go. And then, and again, I'm not a proponent that you have to have it an even line. I kind of like when it's off a little bit because I think it adds a more homey touch to it. And if for some reason you don't like the look or the way it flows, I'll show you a trick here really quick. Let me finish this one for you. So last time on the flamingo card we did just pretty much a straight line, but on this one let's do some hashtags, and that just helps add a little bit more dimension. Can you see those hashtags? Does that look, can you see that now? So the gel pens are awesome. I love the white jelly rolls. And so let's do the same thing. This time we're going to use same thing. We're going to use the Chantilly Bring Back My Pack paper. How cool would this be? And you could use it with the mix-ins. It's just ready to go. So then I am just adding the floral on top so you can see the two differences. And yes, my granddaughters are here, so we have a little audience today. So, all right. So then and I use the same thing. It's just an extra little cut I had in my stash. I wanted to show you fast and easy and simple. And there you go. So now you have the flamingo card and the lagoon card all ready to go. Same pattern, just different looks by using different colors. I don't think I said this, but in this paper pack, this dark color here is actually scarlet, and that's what I stamped that in. It's not a form of flamingo. Okay, last card for this session. I wanted to show you a really fun card that uses any type of thin cut. And I would recommend something that has two sizes of the same pattern. So this is our new Stitched Fancy Borders. So see how they sit in. You have the circles. So you have the big circle, and then you have the stitched overlay. You have that with the heart also, okay? So let me show you what the card looks like. I did one because I needed to practice this. I wanted to make sure I understood how the program looked and worked, and I wanted to use this new Under the Weather stamp set. I thought it was so cute. All these little blue ones are thin cuts, that little teacup, the little RX bottle, the Kleenex, the thermometer, the Band-Aid. I I just thought it was fun. Again, the fonts are different on the saying. So this is the card I did ahead of time. And I'm going to walk you through how to make one, so don't panic. But see, this comes, this one's got that little pointy, so you have to wiggle it a little bit. But it's a fun little overlay, and then you can put your sentiment right here in the middle. And so it just fits nicely, just like that. I don't know if you can see, I did put a little shimmer on the coffee cup and the steam, a little heart. And this is why I like the two sides, because you can do a pattern paper and you have the cardstock underneath. So let me walk you through how to create this card. And believe me, it is super, super easy. There's not a lot of, I mean, it looks like it is a Wowie card, but it's not a Wowie card to make. Does that make sense? So let me tell you something. When you're making this card, you have to be careful about how many layers you have, because your thin cuts got to go through this top piece. Okay? So that's why I have colored cardstock that I cut at 8.5, 8.5 by 4.25. Rather than doing like this card where I have 2 layers of cardstock. I have the top and the card base. If your cutter can handle it, yes, you can definitely do that. But just, you know, for your first one, I would do it very simple, just so you get the gist of it. Okay, so when you put your pattern paper on top, before you even cut out the middle, remember to only put tape or glue at the top and at the bottom. Don't, if you can get really close to the sides, you can do the sides, but you don't want to add any more bulk that your die cut machine has to go through. So keep it on the very edges, okay? So, and then this little strip is a 4 3/4 by 1 1/4. Now you could do 1 1/2. This one's 1 1/2, but the one I'm going to create for you is 4 3/4 by 1 1/4. Okay. Now I just put some white paper here so the sentiment could go through, and then it looks like that. Okay. So let's show you how easy it is to create. So you did not need, I've already explained to you how to cut this out. And the cool thing about cutting this is when you cut the cardstock and you cut the middle out, you get 2 extra pieces. Now you could use these pieces if you wanted, or you can do a contrast depending on how you want to play with it. Now with the heart, the heart's not too bad. You could have used that, but you know me, I have cardstock. I want to play with my cardstock. So this is flamingo, and this is the back side of flamingo, so you can see I cut this heart out of flamingo. So I cut this out of flamingo, and then I have, well, let's put the inside in. So I had a piece of mix-ins that had a little bit of pink on it, and I thought, oh, that will be nice. That gives me a little bit more texture. I already showed you this piece. Excuse me again. Now you want to score it at the 1/2 inch, you know, you just want a little bit. The biggest thing when you're playing with this is you want to make sure that it fits right at the edge of your card and that your crease is right there, because this is your middle flap. This is what's going to show. And then you're going, I want the lighter side because I don't want to take away from my heart. I am going to put some super sticky adhesive. And I am going to figure out my middle. I still have some wiggle room with this, so I'm going to move it down just a smidge. But once you get this where you like it going through and it opens, no problem, then go ahead and rub it. I am going to do a cut. Just going to do a little banner cut right here, just to give it a little design. You don't have to do that. Now that I have my tab in place, I am going to anchor this down. And this is what you can add your sentiment to and all of that fun stuff. So just voila. Isn't that pretty cool? Okay. So now comes the fun and the decorating. Like I said, you get all these. At first I thought, oh, I want something like that. It didn't quite fit with what I wanted to do. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll just do the pink heart. Wasn't really sure if I liked that. I could easily go back to this, but then you kind of lose that whole peekaboo thing. You could do the pink, very subtle. Like I said, you have all these fun options when you're playing with this. But I went ahead and I did the flamingo heart, like I told you, with the big heart. Then I did the inside of this heart with this pattern paper. And then I did the lighter side of flamingo as my stitched part. Now I made it more difficult just because, you know, that's me. But it's more of just doing, and then you got to remember, you only want tape on the opening because it's got to go through. Okay. And sometimes you have to finesse it a few times until you get it open and closed. But that's how fun this pattern is to make. Now, you're wondering, where did I get that birthday stamp set? Well, you'll be shocked to know that it is this one out of the Cars. Happy birthday, my old friend. And I like the little scripty look. And then let's just add some fun little shimmer to go with this. I want to see if I like this. I have some of these silver. I think they're too big for what I'm going for. So let's see if my, oh, I know what, better yet. I was gonna go with my clear sparkles, but I forgot there is a touch of yellow in the flowers. So, and I know the gold glitter gems have these itty bitty gems. So let's do that. And that will add a little fun and a little sparkle to this card. So just like that. So let me show you the two cards so you can see. Look at how different they look by using different pattern paper. Even though they're in the same group, these are both Bring Back My Pack, just changing out how you put your middle piece. All right, ladies, have fun, create. Tell me what you're creating. I love to see what you guys do. If you have any questions, give me a jingle. Bye, ladies.